Good evening, Flyers fans, and welcome back to the Clear the Ice, a Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy Matty B on the call. And what a pleasant surprise tonight was. That's right, Flyers handily beating the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-3. They got that late goal, but the game was pretty much over. There was really not a moment in this game, at least for me at least, that this game seemed in jeopardy. The Flyers controlled pace of play. They controlled basically everything in this game, and big bounce back win after the last few games that the Flyers have been really struggling. Morgan Frost tonight with the night. Big bounce back night for Morgan. Maybe one of the more maligned Flyers over the last 24 to 48 hours, giving up that really puzzling play at the end of the Utah game where he overskated the puck and then led to a shorthanded breakaway and a goal there. But, kudos to John Tortorella, because I don't think Tortorella is like number one in the Morgan Frost fan club. But he went right back to him tonight, and it paid off as Frost was all over the place. 2-point night. Could have actually had more, and I was really involved in the play. You got to give Morgan Frost credit. Again, I am also not head of the Morgan Frost fan club, and I just see a lot of potential in that player that has not yet been tapped into. A lot of wasted potential at this point in his career. But good to see him bounce back tonight. Good to see the Flyers bounce back. Travis Konecny had a good night. Sam Ersson, for the most part, played very well as he continues to get his legs underneath of him. And the Flyers as a whole took care of a team that, they're kind of the same level as the Flyers are, the Blue Jackets. And the Flyers could have played down, but they didn't. They could have played undisciplined. There were moments in that game where it was a little, But for the most part, I will take this win. It was a quality win. Back over the 500 plateau now, 13-12-4 on the season. Have now earned 30 points. Tonight was our 30th point of the year as the Flyers look to kind of put away or put in the rear view what happened last week. So now let's get into this. Let's do some of the housekeeping of this game as we usually do to start this show. Flyers on the night went with some healthy scratches. It was the usual suspects for the Flyers: Erik Johnson, Ivan Fedotov, and Igor Zamula. All healthy scratches for the Flyers tonight, as, of course, Nick Delorier is on the IR. For Columbus, Jack Johnson, Mikhail Paitha, and Igor Chichkov. God, man, we're on IR or healthy scratches for the Blue Jackets. Flyers outshot the CBJ tonight, 24-18. The Flyers on the power play, 1 for 3. Columbus was 1 for 2. As Flyers did score a power play goal, but they also gave up a shorthanded goal. That was once a very, very lockdown part of the Flyers game. The penalty kill. It's not been that way lately. 20 giveaways for the Flyers tonight. That's not good, and only 1 takeaway. That's terrible. But Columbus only had 1 takeaway as well. So I guess it was kind of a physical game, and both teams were pretty much taking care of the puck, as you can see by that stat. 1 takeaway. Wow. But the Flyers gave it away 20 times. That's amazing. Hits-wise, block shots, Flyers blocked 16 shots on the night. Goalie for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Elvis was in the building tonight. That's right. Elvis Merzlikins got to start for Columbus. He faced 24 shots, saved 19, gave up 5 goals in the losing effort with a .792 save percentage. And Sam Ersson, his second start after coming back from an 11-game stint on the IR or IL, 18 goals faced, 15 shots saved, 3 goals, and a .833 goals against or save percentage. That late goal, it does count against him, unfortunately, but for the most part, Ersson played a really clean game, and then for even better, the Flyers played a very clean game in front of him. One of the more cleaner, complete games the Flyers have played this season. You would like to see it against better competition, but you got to start somewhere, and the Flyers did that tonight with a better effort altogether against the Columbus Blue Jackets on the way to the win tonight, 5-3. Let's break it down as we do typically on the program. We're going to start with the scoring summary. Noah Cates, that's right, Noah Cates would get 437 front end for at the 437 mark of that period. His second goal of the year. Again, somebody show me the tape of his first goal. Noah Cates has been one of those players that has struggled the entire season to score goals, and that's again part of the Flyers' problems. Tyson Forrester will get the assist, his fourth, and Cam York just his second assist on the season. I know York spent some time on IR, but I wasn't aware that he only had one assist going into this game. But no case, we get the Flyers on the board. Let's check this bad boy out. Let's key up this goal for you. This was a really good, hardworking goal by the Flyers. They just were pretty much not to be denied on this play. Good network, outstanding network as the Flyers were able to get this goal through. And let's bring it up for you. All right, we're picking up the action in the Columbus zone behind the Columbus net on the side wall. The puck is loose at this point, and the Flyers are going to basically make this goal happen right here as some really good work off the puck. They're going to retain possession of the puck. That's Brink just kind of that's Forrester inserting himself. He's going to then throw it or take it to the net. There's Kate standing as the screen. Cates gets behind his defender and then bull rushes his way through to clean up that rebound and get the goal there as Merzinkas is kind of falling everywhere. But that's a really good goal for the Flyers. It's one of those hard-working goals that the Flyers don't usually score. And, those net-type goals, they're not that kind of team. They have not been all season. But to see that goal and the way it kind of came, that was as I said, the Flyers kind of just forcing their will upon the Blue Jackets on that play. Again, got to give a lot of credit here to Tyson Forrester as he won't be denied with the puck. He's going to make the move towards the net. He's going to put the puck on net as a smart forward would do to try to get that rebound, which he does. The rebound comes up in the air over behind Merzinkas, and then Cates just driving into the crease there. And of course, he's allowed to be in the crease when the puck is there as well. And he finishes up, cleans up the mess, and puts the rebound home. 1-0 Flyers on Cates' second of the year. And moving forward at around the halfway mark of that first period at the 10:56 mark, Owen Tippett, who's been red hot as of late, his ninth of the year from Drysdale and Frost to give the Flyers a 2-0 lead. As I said, Owen Tippett, man, just on fire over the last few nights as he is trying to rebound from a very slow start and is definitely started to do that. Let's bring this up for you. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to watch Frost come into the zone. Interesting camera angle here. Frost and Drysdale will go over the red line. They're going to go to the zone. And I mentioned Frost had a really good night. He'll get credit for this assist here. It's a shame they can't give him like an assist and a half because I honestly think right about here, let's stop it right there. Well, let's back that up a little bit. That's a little too far. Let's move it this way right here. Right there. All right. So at this particular moment in this play, it's a very innocent looking zone entry. A lot of traffic kind of in one side of the ice or one spot on the ice. But as you can see, Frost, after giving up the puck to Drysdale, continues forward to the net. Not necessarily to create havoc, but what I think it does here is it pulls the attention of the goalie to Morgan Frost to make sure that he does not lose sight of Frost. Now, as I said, it's going to be a very innocent-looking shot on the net, but I think this was pretty much aided by Morgan Frost and his ability to kind of keep driving through the net, created a little bit of traffic, a little bit of a screen, not much, but enough as the puck was shot far side in order to benefit from that screen. And again, not the cleanest or sexiest goal ever, but a very smart hockey play by Morgan Frost to kind of create a moving screen away from the puck. Not all the screens have to be right up on the goalie. Some screens work effective as you kind of are moving into the goalie's line of sight or his peripheral. Moving in that direction, it kind of pulls the goalie's attention. And a perfectly placed shot, which Owen Tippett did there, kind of far side along the ice to kind of use Morgan Frost as some deception there. Worked, and the Flyers are up 2-0. And that's the way the scoring would end in the first period. For that period, the Flyers would outshot Columbus 7-4 as, again, there was really never a time in this game, at least me personally, that I felt the game was in doubt. The Flyers pretty much controlled everything from the very beginning. In the second period, Travis Konecny would get the Flyers further cushion, 3-0 lead. His, when was it? His 11th of the year, I believe. His 14th. I'm selling him short. his 14th on the power play from Bobby Brink, his 9th, and Michkov, his 15th assist on that power play as the Flyers took 3-0 lead. Let's bring that one up. All that dead air, man. Sorry, guys. Do my best, man. Need a producer here. I need a producer. All right, here we go. It's up. All right, behind the we got Flyers behind the net. Little. There's some sort of a scrum for the puck. It's going to kind of go loose there. Brink is going to take possession of the puck. He's going to come up the half wall. I really want you to pay attention to Brink, the way he just kind of keeps control, just bullies his way up through the half wall. Really kind of keeps his play alive until something can kind of come from it. We'll dump it off there, as the Flyers will then continue now with the play. They're going to find Konechny over there as he's coming in. Again, another innocent shot. Textbook screen right here by Michkov. You really cannot do it any bit better than that. That's like something right out the damn manual there. But as I said, the two players that you want to highlight on this goal, to not including the goal scorer, is the work done by Bobby Brink as he kept the puck alive until something could come from this thing. And then Michkov cut across, providing the textbook Hockey 101 screen, enabling Konechny to push this goal through. Look at that, man. That's just beautiful. I mean, I don't know how you can see that. There's just no way. There's no way Elvis Merzoukias could see that play. I mean, he was completely covered up by Michkov, and his 5-hole was wide open, and Konechny takes advantage there, and he will actually kind of score there. So beautiful goal there. Beautiful teamwork goal. Teamwork is the dream work. And on that goal, Bobby Brink and Michkov provided the teamwork fantastically, as the Flyers are up now at this point, 3-0. Let's see. But Columbus would come back on their own power play goal at the 16:56 mark of the period. Zach Werninski, his 9th of the season from Marchenko, his 17th assist. Columbus would get back into this thing 3-1. And even that goal, and I remember the penalty, it was a bad penalty, and I was thinking, uh-oh, here we go. We've controlled this game up to this point, but you take a stupid penalty and you give up a potential goal here. We have ourselves a new game. How many times have we seen this already through the season, where the Flyers, just kind of fall apart in front of themselves? Even when that goal was scored, I wasn't fearing it, because honestly, as I said, I thought the Flyers just really, really controlled this game. Let's take a look at this. This is very basic, very bland, very vanilla. Werninski with the one-timer, and he's just gonna get through the traffic. He's gonna beat Urson short side. Urson might have just been handcuffed a little bit, may have went down a little bit too soon, gave up that little area there right above the pad, and Werninski took advantage of it, and Columbus is up 3-1. Again, a very bad penalty to give up there, and the Flyers paid for it, just like they've been paying for it a lot lately when it comes to their penalties. But never fear, because about 2 minutes later, 2 minutes actually, a little bit over 2 minutes, the Flyers would get their 4th goal. Travis Konechny his 15th, from Farabee his 7th, and Sealer his 8th, to put the knife in the heart, in my opinion here. So let's take a look at this one. This is a pretty goal. This is a Flyers goal in 2020. This is what the new Flyers are. This goal right here. This is the epitome of what the Flyers are, in my opinion, because this play worked so well for them last year. It hasn't been working at all this season, but on this night it did. As the Flyers will come out of their zone. Again, a very innocent-looking out pass, but look at Konechny down here on the bottom of your screen. He's got a step on the defense. The entire defense is 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Not the way you want to be shorthanded, and not the way you want to do a penalty kill. As you're coming in your offensive zone, all your people are up. I don't understand the philosophy here. You're in the second period. You're only down 3-1. I don't know what you're pressing. But for some reason, Columbus had all 4 of their people playing up. So Konechny gets the step, and a play that's worked amazingly for the Flyers last year helps them out right here. Beautiful, beautiful touch pass. Maybe a little bit short, but still a gorgeous pass. And then it's all Travis Konechny as he's going to come in, pick his spot underneath the pad, and it's 5-1 or 4-1 Flyers. Again, that play was the Flyer bread and butter play last season. Shorthanded 5-on-5. That was actually, I would say, more on the shorthand side. That was their play to go to, but the Flyers were predicated on that play. Has not worked that well this season so far, but tonight it did, as the Flyers go up 4-1. And that will be all your scoring in the second period. Flyers would outshoot Columbus 10-7 in that period. And on to the third, and Morgan Frost would get in on the action to kind of cap off his night. A great night for Morgan. His fourth goal of the year from Michkov, his 16th, as Michkov picked up a multiple point game at the 1:55 mark of the early part of the third period. Flyers will go up 5-1. A little extra sugar on top, I guess, a little bit, you know. Let's put this one up here for you. All right, here we go. Getting a little bit faster at this, at least. All right, so good job by the Flyers to keep the puck in. Nice little move up there to try to. That's Morgan Frost. I believe that's Morgan Frost up there on the point. Is he? Yeah, he's kind of keeping puck going. It's going to go back. And look at Morgan Frost. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. He's being a great forward. He's going. Beautiful pass by Michkov. This is pretty. That's a hard-working goal right there. Morgan Frost, he's going to get the rebound and he's going to finish it off right there. That's just a really hard-working goal for Morgan. Let's enjoy that again. Again, this is Morgan Frost up here at the blue line, keeping the puck in the zone, keeping the puck alive. He's going to get it. He's going to give up possession to it. I believe that's Tippett. Is that Tippett up there? Yeah, it's Tippett. Well, Frost is going to basically throw it down to Michkov. Then he's going to go right to the net. Michkov then puts a beautiful touch pass, give and go. Frost is just going to walk right into it, and that's why it's such a pretty pass. Initial save is made, but Frost stays with it, and the puck is bounced around. I mean, if you're going to put together a Morgan Frost highlight reel, here it is. I mean, that's just a really nice goal. Again, it's a shame you can only give the goal to Morgan Frost. You can't give him an assist as well, because if there was ever a play or a goal out there that he deserves a two-pointer on, it's that one for his work at the blue line to keep the puck in the zone, to get the puck even down to Michkov, and then obviously scoring the goal on a beautiful give and go, staying with the rebound, not quitting on the play, following the rebound across the crease, and then finishing the goal to make it 5-1 Flyers. This is the Morgan Frost we've been waiting to see. I've been waiting to see this Morgan Frost for 5 years. And after what happened in the last game, the Utah game, it's good to see it, man. It's good to see him respond like this. It's good to see Tortorella stay with him throughout the night. I thought maybe there was going to be another healthy scratch coming up for Morgan, as maybe they would get somebody else back in the mix. But no, they went back to him, and they definitely were rewarded tonight by one of Morgan Frost's better games. Sean Monahan would make it 5-2 at the 11:42 mark, his ninth. And then Kent Johnston at the very end of the game at 19:23 would score to make it 5-3 from Stevenson with the assist for Columbus. And that's how you get 5-3 your final. I'm not going to show you those last two Columbus goals. Flyers would not outshoot Columbus in the third period, as both teams finished 7 shots in that period. But as I said, for the game, the Flyers 24-18 on the shots over Columbus on the game. So 5-3 is your final score tonight. Flyers are now 1 game back over 500. Let's go to our Clear the Ice stat pack for the season so far, 13-12-4. They've hit the magical 30-point plateau, 29 games now through the season. With their power play goal tonight, the Flyers are now 15 for 86 on the power play this year, up to 17.4%. Not dreadful, not 12% like it was last year. Not great, but not 12%. Flyers have been shorthanded 89 times, have killed 74 of them for an 83.1 percentage. One of the lowest percentages on the penalty kill that they've been in a long time. Flyers have predicated themselves with being a very good shorthanded team. Last season, I believe they were hovering around 89, 90% all season. They started out that way, but things have definitely turned over the last 10 days. Flyers, with their 5 goals tonight, have now pushed their goal total up to 84, still less than 3 on the season at 2.8. With the 3 goals given up, Opponents are creeping up on 100 now. The Flyers are giving up 97 goals on the season for 3.3. With their shot total, the Flyers are now up to 799 for 27.5 a game. They've given up 827 shots for 28.5. Takeaways, with the one takeaway, they're up to 177 for 6.1 a game. And with the 20 giveaways, which was a return to that god-awful number. For the last 3 games or 4 games, the Flyers were down there in the 10, 5, 6, more where they belong, or more where I'm used to seeing them from last year. But with tonight's 20 giveaways, right back up now for 439 on the season, over 15 giveaways a game. They've now blocked 555 shots for 19 a game. Nick Delorier is currently sitting on IR along with Ryan Ellis. So currently the Flyers have $7.95 million worth of their AAV sitting on the injured reserve list. They are now 109 for 790 on the power play since the 21-22 season for 13% effective rate. And I am now 7-6-3 as your host on Clear the Ice. So very, positive game. A lot of good things you can take out of this game if you're a Flyers fan, and more importantly, if you're a Flyers player. Definitely something to build on. And more importantly, it's the play of some of the players tonight. Morgan Frost, who bounced back from a terrible game the other night. You saw that last goal scored, his goal, the final goal of the night for the Flyers. That was all Morgan Frost. Everything from keeping the puck in to staying with that rebound and then finding a way as he's going across the crease to put it home. Just a really positive game for Morgan. A really positive game for the Flyers. They played a complete game tonight. One of their only complete games that they played all season long. So you got to give your hat off to the Flyers. Barbara, what's up? We won a game. Woohoo. Wow. Somebody more negative than me. I keep thinking of all the games we blew this season already. Yeah, and that's part of being a team that's in the rebuild, Barbara. You got to kind of expect those things. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. The last 3 games the Flyers lost. Those are the games that if the Flyers are, and I know it's so deflating for me to sit here and talk like this, but it's hard for me to get excited about this team's potential playoff opportunities or potential or playoff rendezvous when there's real no reality about it. Even if they do find their way into the playoffs as the 8th seed, what really is coming from that? And I'm not saying that I don't want them to make the playoffs. Hell, it'd be fun to watch hockey as long as I possibly can. But if you're looking at the playoffs, and if you're a Flyers fan that believes that this team could make some noise in the playoffs, and I know it's December and talking about the playoffs is kind of silly at this point, but if you feel that way, and you have a right to feel that way, I guess, the 3 games that the Flyers played recently really are the types of games that you need to have. You need to have like 2 points from those. You need to try to squeeze out wins everywhere you can. There was a lot of positivity taken from that Panther game from a lot of different people. I wasn't very positive by that game. They lost. And after coming back from a huge deficit and taking the lead, they blew it. So I really didn't take positives from that. Tonight I'm taking positives because I saw a very complete game. The opponent wasn't the Edmonton Oilers. It wasn't the Florida Panthers. I get all that. They're more of a team that's sort of down at the level of the Flyers. But they still played better than them. And they still played a more complete game. And you saw tonight what I guess the Flyers are capable of if, they go out every night and don't smell themselves. I guess that's the bottom line. I just hate losing. I want to make the playoffs at least to show progress in the rebuilding. Barbara, here's something to keep in mind, though. Again, here's something, and I get it. I get where everybody's head is on this. But if you make the playoffs, Barbara, right? Reality, based in reality, what are the chances they're going to win? They're winning the finals. 0, right? I mean, it's something, maybe a half or 1% chance, whatever, 1 out of 16. But in the reality speaking aspect of all this, what's going to happen to them in the playoffs is they're going to come out of it with a lower draft pick. And that's all they're going to get for their trouble. And that's all they're going to get for their effort. And as you alluded to, they're a rebuilding team. And the more assets and the higher of those assets that we can possibly accumulate at this particular moment in time is really optimal here for me. The Flyers are not a terrible team. They're not. They're a 500 team. They're middling in that 500 range, and that's another reason why I am not backing off of the. We got to get a trade going, because maybe a trade or two does spark this team. Maybe a trade or two does push them into a different little bit of a stratosphere, because they're not a terrible team. They're not a lot. Well, they in hockeyese, they are a lottery team. If you don't make the playoffs, everybody's a lottery team who doesn't make the playoffs. So yes, in that aspect, they are. But they're not a bottom feeder. They're not a top 3. They're not a top 2 drafting team. There's far worse teams out there than the Flyers. The Flyers are stuck in that middle of the road purgatory right now, and with no salary cap to work around and no salary cap to work with, the only way they're going to get better is through trades. It's just the reality of it. And drafting is great, and they have a lot of those draft assets, and potentially maybe they move up and they can go up the board with some of that stuff. But the reality is they're not going up, because the teams that are up there are not giving up those top picks. So what do we do? Do we sit back and spin our wheels in this mediocrity, or do we try to kind of push ourselves and say, you know what, I can't sign players. I can draft players all day long, but I'm drafting down in that 13 to 15 range. So whatever I'm drafting is not going to be probably ready for at least 3 years anyway. So why aren't we doing something a little bit more to kind of generate more wins at the NHL level by getting more creative with what we can work with? So I get everybody saying that the playoffs. I get that. I get the playoffs, and that would be an outstanding like watermark for the Flyers to say, hey, we're a playoff team now. But at the end of the day, what do we really win from that? The players get the experience, and that's about it. So I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. We're at the bottom now. If we make the playoffs, it'll be a good experience, even inevitably we lose. But that's the problem, Barbara. We're not at the bottom. Again, I just want you to understand what I mean here. We're not the Chicago Blackhawks. We're not the San Jose Sharks. We're not those teams. We're not we're not down there. We're not top 3 or top 5 or bottom 3, bottom 5. We're a straight up middle of the road team, middle of the pack team. And because the NHL considers every non-playoff team a lottery team, that doesn't make us a bottom team. It just makes us a non-playoff team. And we're not even able to get in the top 10, for God's sakes. So I understand what you mean. And I understand the experience part of it all. But at the end of the day, I'd rather get a higher draft pick, honestly. We need the first pick in the draft. We can't miss players sitting here. It's hard to count on that. But Barbara, where you're selecting in that draft, and we'll go to Lutsenko. I guess he's the most recent one. We don't know what he's going to be. He's got to develop. And at 13 overall, which I thought was a reach anyway, what do you expect him to do? It's going to take a couple years. Hockey is one of the more rare sports where it's not many players are. Am I back? Hello? But you're slim to none. If you don't get drafted in that top 1, 2, or 3 spot, it's very hard for you to make the opening day roster. It's a process. It's a long process. So I get what you guys are saying, but I'm looking more for, I guess, instant gratification. I don't know. We're on purgatory. Yeah, absolutely. We're stuck in between. We're stuck in between greatness and being terrible. And that's a horrible place to be, because you can get stuck there for years. And without salary cap, and that will come soon or then later, I guess, they're going to be stuck there. So the only way I see our way out of this is through trading, if you want to start now. But great game tonight for the Flyers. And then let's not get away from that. It was a great game for the Flyers as they came back and bounced back from some pretty rough hockey over the last 3 games. They beat a lesser opponent, but an opponent nonetheless, and they handled it. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with the game tonight. So all right, let's and Barbara checking back in. You're the voice of reason. I'm restless for winning. Those are not words I hear every day, Barbara. I'm the voice of reason. And if that is the case, we have gone completely off the rails. So thank you, though, for providing me that voice of reason moniker. I'll take it. But listen, Barbara, I want to win probably just as much as you do. God knows I want to win. But in hockey, at least, I'm very uber hyper aware of where this team really is. This team is not a Stanley Cup contender. On huge difference in the draft order. So, at this particular moment in time, if we're not trading, the higher the draft pick, the better, in my opinion. But there you have it. Flyers 5-3 winners. Let's now go to my key point or turning point key moment. All right, my key moment or my turning point is really the play of Morgan Frost throughout the whole game. I don't have a key moment here to kind of zero in on, but Morgan was all over the place. He was involved in, he made his presence felt. He didn't turtle up after what happened the other night, and pretty much what's been happening all season. He's just been really, throughout his whole career, really, it's not been an easy ride for Morgan Frost. And tonight, he answered the bell. John Tortorella is showing confidence in a player that's not probably up on his fan club list either, as he's had a lot of issues with Morgan. And I think those issues are pretty justified because I think John Tortorella sees that potential more so in Morgan Frost than anybody else sees it. And he's probably as frustrated, more frustrated with his play than anybody else is, probably to include Morgan, because he probably sees a lot more there. And he's frustrated that it's not coming out, and he's trying to find every single way possible to pull it out of him. But he went right back to Morgan Frost tonight. So, and Morgan had a great game. That last goal was a work of art, is a goal that needs to be studied by young hockey players everywhere about what persistence will do for you when playing in the offensive or defensive zones. So kudos to Morgan Frost for bouncing back, but also kudos to John Tortorella, who's been under a lot of fire lately with the undisciplined play. Because yes, that is coaching. But tonight, he could have sat Morgan Frost and said, listen, what happened the other night against Utah was a cardinal sin. You basically gave us up a goal, and I hate you anyway, so I'm sitting you again. But he did it. He went right back to him, got him back out on the ice, and it paid dividends for both Morgan and, most importantly, for the Flyers as they were able to win tonight 5-3. So there you go. There's my key moment or turning point of the game is the play of Morgan Frost and the coaching of John Tortorella to let him come back in. So there you have it. Yeah, we can't skip steps, so to speak, in the rebuilding. Yeah, we can, but we don't have the resources to skip steps. If we had salary cap, if we had cap, we could skip a step. But heading into next season, we got like 13 million of available cap room right now heading into the season next year. And that's before signing the RFAs that we're going to have to deal with. And that's before trying to round out the phantoms that we're going to have to do with. And that's before signing the draft picks from last year or the years prior that they're probably going to have to sign at some point here. Some kids that are coming up on that magical point of being signed or being put back into the draft. So you're looking at like $8 million of cap room the Flyers are going to have to actually go after free agents next year. That's terrible. That's absolutely garbage. So it's not so much skipping a step in my opinion, Barbara. It's more of like getting creatively stepping around the step, because the Flyers just don't have the option of signing free agents. I don't know if you guys understand how frustratingly important this is that they don't have cap, how badly the cap was managed by Chuck Fletcher. We've talked about it on my other shows. Risto's contract, Farabee's contract, Laughton's contract, Couturier's contract. These are anchors right now around the Flyers' necks, all given out. Friggin' Ellis, the trade for Ellis. These are all anchors around the Flyers' neck by Chuck Fletcher. And it's hard to come off of that stuff. It takes time to come off of those contracts, and it's really affecting the Flyers and their rebuild. It really is. So it's not like the Flyers, I think, are out there purposely not wanting to get better. It's not that. It's just that they only have less wiggle room than most teams that are in this situation. In stark contrast to the Flyers. The Anaheim Ducks heading into next summer right now have $31 million $28 million in cap space to deal with next summer. 28 versus 13. That's what the Ducks have heading into next offseason. If they want to get creative in free agency, they can. But because of the Flyers' mismanaged cap and some of the bad contracts that they're dealing with right now, it has shut off an entire vein of help because they can't do it. So it has slowed this rebuild. And the Flyers are doing all they can do, and really all they can do is developing young players. But at a certain point, you got to be like, we got to get better. And we got to, cut the cure or addition by subtract. Something's got to give at a certain point because the cap flexibility will start loosening up a little bit in the summer of 2026. A little bit. It starts getting better in 27, and then in 28, we're good. But that's, I don't know if I got the kind of patience to last till 2028 on this. So they're going to have to get creative, man, or it's going to be year after year after year of this until then. So at some point, something's got to give here with the Flyers. Frosty, but that's really Bobby Frost. I'll call him Frosty. Yeah, let's call him that. I love and support. I love and trust Torts. I support him. He tries everything in his power to help us. He does. He does. And criticizing the coach at this stage of the team's maturation is, Tortorella's done an amazing job, and he won't. And that's what sucks about it too. He won't see any of the fruit of this. He won't. He'll be long gone before the Flyers really turn that corner. But much like I hope when I think about the 08 Phillies and Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, Cole Hamels, players like that, it's Ed Wade who I give a lot of credit to that, who had a bad reputation as a GM because he wouldn't pull the trigger on trades. He stuck to his guns when it came to these players. It took time, but at the end of the day, we won a World Series. So hopefully we look at John Tortorella in similar light a couple years down the line when the Flyers hopefully hoist a Stanley Cup. And you can look back in Tortorella and say, it was his patience, his the way he coached, the way he taught, and has gotten us to this point. So there's always positives you can look at it. So Barbara says, pat the bat. Oof, Pat Burrell. Sorry, I got dry throat. All right. That's pretty much going to do it for me. Let's head over to the schedule. Thursday night, the Flyers will be back at this. And are they going to Detroit? No, they're home against Detroit. They'll be home against Detroit. Sal G is your man with the plan on Thursday night, as he has you on the Clear the Ice program. And then I get you on Saturday night against the Minnesota Wild, and all the great programming we have here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, our Eagles postgame show, the Birds Flyby. Don't forget to catch that after the Steelers game on Sunday. My weekly show, or my daily show, the Final Word with Matty B. We'll be back tomorrow night at 9:00 as we'll continue dissecting all the greatness of Philadelphia sports. I don't want to talk AJ Brown. I don't want to talk any of that right now. I'm burned out on it. Start away. That's right, Barbara. I am. Tonight I'm starting a winning streak. It is. Here we go. 1. But the Flyers are back over 500, so that's good. And they got 30 points. That's really good. So until we talk again, which will be on Thursday night with Sal, and then I'll see you on Saturday on against the Wild, and then I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 for my regularly scheduled program, The Final Word with Matty B, here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe on the Facebook and the X platforms as we are building this program and building this network. This is not just a show; it's a network. It's a web of intricate, dances and tapestries and like-minded individuals who find our way through the daily trappings of Philadelphia sports. So we need your help to grow that, right? We need your help to be part of that, to have the thumb on the pulse of Philadelphia sports. We need your help desperately. And Barbara says, night, night, Barbara. Have a good night. I hope you sleep well. And that's going to do it for me. So in the immortal words of Mr. Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I go so cute. Everybody know you know when it click through. Try to fix this and it's about to be a show, be fine. I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I go so cute. Everybody know you know when it click through. Try to fix this and it's about to be a show, be fine.